everybody. This is Heather with the Queen of Grapes, and I am here with Chef Jennie from Frank Underground and the Better Half Pop-Up. Jennie, what are we making today?
Hey everybody, welcome. We are making a seasonal summer savory tart. This is our puff pastry that has been perfectly thawed. We've got a little flour here so it does not stick to our cutting board. A little goat cheese pesto mix. This is softened goat cheese. Softened just on the counter for about 2 hours with about 5 tablespoons of basil pesto. We have heirloom tomatoes from the Perdness Valley in Hill Country. A little shout out to local farmers, sliced green olives, summer squash, and onions that have been sliced. We'll actually cook these while we're preparing the tart. A little egg wash to make the puff pastry golden brown, and goat cheese to finish it off once it comes out of the oven. And I'm having Chardonnay, shocker.
Because she loves Chardonnay. All right,
I'm kind of basic that way, guys.
All right, so what are we gonna do with the puff pastry first?
Okay, so it's thawed. It usually comes frozen. You can sometimes get it freshly baked if you have a good baker. And we're just gonna roll it out to where it's nice and smooth. I have a ruler here because I want this to be the same size for consistency every time. And we're gonna go to about 13 by 9. You don't wanna go too thin because we are putting a pesto goat cheese, and you kind of wanna just keep it a perfect rectangle, right? You can think of this puff pastry really as your canvas, right? So I'm just making a perfect rectangle canvas for us to assemble. I think that's looking pretty good. Actually, let me become a little OCD. Thin that out, and let's measure it. Yeah, a little bit past, that's a little bit 13. Actually a little bit wider, 1310. That's gonna work just great. Let me get the cooking sheet. We'll transfer this over here. I just have this on parchment paper. Can you hear me, Heather?
I can hear you just great.
Awesome. I have this on parchment paper. I'm not spraying it with anything because it's already lovely and lightly floured. Not lovely floured, just lightly floured. This is my little paring knife that I'm going to use to make my frame. I'm not going to cut all the way, guys. You're really just making about a 1/2 inch border, right, of your puff pastry. This part, your border, will not touch the other ingredients. This is so don't draw outside the lines. Be artistic, but stay in your line. Cool, cool. Any questions, Heather?
Yes, what is the canvas for?
Well, I see art when I cook. So if I think of this as a canvas, I'll start playing around and kind of Jackson Pollock this thing up for you.
All right. I'm a big fan of Monet. I feel like that's what's going to happen at the end of this.
For sure. Or it might kind of get Cézanne because we're going to get kind of tipsy while we make this. And it's just going to all be lots of dots.
All right. So right now, what are you putting onto your canvas?
So this is about 6 ounces of softened goat cheese. Does the softened goat cheese make sense to you now that we've kind of talked about it?
Yes. So we're going to leave it out for a couple of hours before we put this onto the tart.
Yes. You can even make the goat cheese pesto the day ahead if you want to get all of your ingredients ready. So when you're ready to make this for your friends, you just kind of assemble it and they'll be shocked at how fast and easy this is. We're going to bake this for 15 minutes for you guys that are ordering it to have with the champagne. If you're making it from scratch and making it home, bake it 30 minutes. Always bake it at 400. Bake it on the lowest setting and lowest rack because it does tend to get a little bit crispy, this puff pastry. And especially when you're reheating it, you don't want it to get too brown. And we are halfway through with the goat cheese pesto. Now imagine if this had not been softened. It would also tear your puff pastry. The oil from the pesto also helps stretch the goat cheese because goat cheese kind of, even though it's a soft cheese, it's not the most spreadable cheese, right? Like a cream cheese.
Right.
All right, this is gonna take me a couple of more seconds. Do you have any questions about any of the other ingredients? Oh, actually, I have a question for you, Heather.
Yes.
You've tried this tart. How was it?
It was wonderful. And actually we cooked it at altitude up in the mountains, about 10,000 feet. We did cook it at a little higher temperature.
Is that because of the altitude?
Correct.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. And you have family up there?
I do. My parents live up there.
And they're getting this tart again, right, for this tasting?
Yes, they are getting it for the second time.
Oh my God, are they gonna be sick of it?
No, because they are our test kitchen in altitude.
Awesome. And also, between us, they kind of like me.
They kind of like you.
Yeah, I like them too.
That's a true statement.
I like them too. Even though I know they're gonna be watching it. I'm not pissing up. I'm just saying the facts, guys.
All right, that looks pretty awesome. So you're doing that last little corner there?
Yep, and you can see I've stayed in my frame.
All right. And so when we're done with the pesto and the goat cheese, where are we going next?
We are then going to put the squash and onions in a pan. Actually, let me do that real quick. Kind of got to talking and forgot. Hold.
It happens.
I've just got this pan on medium-high heat. I'm using a green pan, which is not necessarily environmentally friendly. Actually, it kind of is. Also, my favorite non-stick cooking. Doesn't stick, cleans perfectly. But I don't have any representation from them, so I won't talk about it anymore. Got freshly ground pepper that's going in with our summer squash, a little kosher salt, a little olive oil, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some fresh thyme in this because fresh thyme I like to cook with it. It kind of gives that thyme flavor when you cook it and then also on top, right? What's your favorite herb, Heather?
Rosemary.
Now,
That and red peppers.
would you ever put rosemary, would you ever cook with it or do you just finish with it or how do you like to use it?
I like to cook with it, and well, I'm not really a good cook, so I cook with it when I do cook.
Okay.
And I love red pepper on everything.
Okay, well since you like red pepper, I've got some right here. I also like red pepper on everything. So we're gonna add a little crushed red pepper to the squash and onions. That is going to be up to you guys because we don't want to spice you out. While that's sauteing, we'll finish our goat cheese and pesto. And actually,
And how long will those saute in the pan typically, or what should it taste like?
it should taste like the onions are melted and the squash is just barely cooked through because it will continue to cook once it's in the oven. We just want to get that fresh, that raw taste off of those vegetables.
So it'll still be a little crunchy.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
But that's what I like about zucchini and squash is that they kind of maintain their integrity once you get them where you want them. This is looking good. And when we tested this with your parents in Colorado, they actually had it with the champagne, is that right?
That is a correct statement.
And how did it go with it? You're the queen of grapes. Tell us what how you thought about the pairing for the people that are doing it for the first time today.
I love all of the different flavor profiles that we have here. So the champagne has a distinct fresh strawberry, rhubarb spice to it. Not a hot spice, but a more of a baking spice.
Ooh.
And when you put all of these different items together with the tart, it incorporates really well. Now, everybody knows that I drink bubbles every day of my life. So I think that it just pairs spectacularly.
Awesome. Thanks for the plug. If you don't like it, blame Heather. She approved this.
Yeah, I approve this message.
All right, I'm gonna check on the squash and onions. This is all done if you wanna see how we got the goat cheese pesto kind of all just evened out. If it takes you a while to spread it, no worries, you're cooking the squash and onion anyway. I used an offset spatula. If you wanted to use a larger spatula, of course, you'd get more bang for your buck. I just like offsets. Everyone knows. All right. These are almost ready. Give them a few more minutes. And I'm also going to check my oven right now and make sure my racks are where I want them. Remember earlier I said lower? Let's make sure they're there. Nope, not quite. This middle rack I want to go below. So I won't go to the lowest rack, but I'll go to the second lowest rack, okay guys? Another little saute here. All right. While these are finishing, we will start assembling the tart, not the cart.
All right, what are we putting on next?
I think next I'm gonna do the tomatoes. We have cherry tomatoes. Again, they're local. We've got green ones, orange ones, red ones. The beautiful thing about summer vegetables is all the different colors they come in, right? You won't be able to get these in the fall or winter anywhere. I hope to get them for a few more weeks so we can make all these tarts. I will season this at the end. Everyone likes a seasoned veggie. And I can hear my squash and onions are getting close. How does that look? Pretty?
That looks beautiful.
Is there a place I'm missing? Give me your pair of eyes, Heather.
I think you need some right there.
Okay, let's do a red one there.
Perfect.
And let's do another green one, maybe a couple more orange to even it out. Ah, voila. Don't overthink it. You're having fun. All right. You see our squash and onions is just kind of barely cooked through, really translucent. Again, the cooking will continue once it's on the tart. All right, I'm gonna set this aside while I add the olives. Turn off my oven. And green olives, I like to use these on this because the saltiness goes really well with the fruitiness of the champagne. The champagne, like we said, has fruit tones, but is not sweet. But you still want something to kind of cut that. And the goat cheese is so bright and tangy, these olives kind of really balance it out. Also, when you're on the salt with this dish because pesto and olives have their own sodium, right?
When you're talking about balancing out tastes, can you talk a little bit about that? The bitter, sweet, sour, etc.
Gosh, I think you being the som would have better notes on that. But if something is sweet, you want something to be salty. If something is bitter, you want something to be sweet, right? You don't want anything to have too much of one note.
Right.
Like if you're eating something that's burnt, you're gonna want something cooling after, right? So I just kind of think of it almost like a color wheel, opposite.
Correct.
Blue, orange, red, green, yellow. Yellow, blue?
Yellow, blue? Sure. I think that when you're balancing it, and that's the point. So with the champagne, which is bright, fresh, the strawberry, and it comes out, you're taking the taste profile of the tart and you are making it savory. And that is the point of balancing the flavor profiles in whatever you are drinking, but especially with this right here, you can see you're hitting all the taste buds in your mouth.
Correct. That's what we're hoping to do. The great thing about this tart, guys, is it's going to come with not only the recipe to make this one at home for the rest of the summer, also one to make it in fall with different vegetables, one to make it in the winter, one for spring, and one for you brunch lovers, a breakfast option, and that has just either different vegetables or different vegetables and a different base. Here we've got our squash and our onions. And again, I'm just kind of painting with our food.
Right.
And how do you think that's looking? I like to make sure I use the end of the squash because I want those small pieces of squash to balance out the size of the tomatoes, but some big pieces too, because this, it's gonna feed like 3 to 4 people. All right, what do you think, Heather? What do we need?
I think I'm ready for you to put it in the oven so I can eat it.
Let's do a little salt and pepper and egg wash and fresh thyme. So the salt, you're gonna go light. You really kind of want to hit the tomatoes with this, okay? We've already seasoned the onions and salt, so you don't need a ton. We've already seasoned the squash with onions. Sorry, we've already seasoned the squash and onions with salt and pepper. And here's cracked pepper. I always finish any dish with this. And some more fresh thyme. Everyone know the best way to get thyme. Stem, go down the stem like, I always think of it like, what's that nursery rhyme with Jack and the Beanstalk? So I think of this as like a little beanstalk, and all the thyme just wants to come off of it and you have to help it. It really has nothing to do with the nursery rhyme, but I'm a kid at heart and I think I'm always thinking about stories and art and ways that it just makes sense to me. Okay, this is the final result. I have my egg wash here, and this is just 2 eggs that have been lightly beaten. And I'm just gonna go around, what do we call this, Heather?
Tart?
No.
Oh, a canvas.
The frame.
Our frame of the painting.
Yes. Just gonna go around the frame. We wanna do this to keep it nice, and anytime you do any kind of pastry, you're gonna finish it with an egg wash. Croissants, puff pastry, pie. tarts. Yeah, I'm gonna scoot some of my stuff in that wants to hop off the side because, you know me, a little bit OCD. My nickname, for those of you that don't know, is not a nice one. I got it at my little underground restaurant that was called Frank Underground, is Miss Details. Not the best nickname, but also my nickname, so what can you do? This is it. We're going in at 425 for 30 minutes if we're baking it all the way through, 15 if we're par baking it to send out to you guys. All right. Okay guys, it's 15 minutes later. Let's see how this baby's looking. Oh my gosh, it's great. It is where we want it to be to send out. You guys, when you get it at home, this will be frozen. And you can see the puff pastry with the egg wash is lightly browned. Everything inside has nice seasoning on it and good color. All we're gonna do is let this cool for about 15 minutes. I will be adding some fresh goat cheese right now. And when you guys get this, you will just heat it in the oven. The goat cheese, normally you would garnish with if you're making this at home, right? But this one is being made for you. Any questions, Heather? What do you think? Best one yet?
I think this is the best one yet. It is beautiful art on a pretty canvas.
How does it smell?
It smells wonderful. I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
Awesome, guys. Well, this is it. This is your Savory Summer Tart. Remember, you get 4 more recipes, a fall, winter, spring, and breakfast option to go with this puff pastry for your perfect canvas all year round.
Thanks. Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you, Heather. Bye.
Bye.